Jaxson Dart, the pre-draft riser of 2025. Ian Rapoport, NFL insider for the NFL Network, saying the Giants have spent significant time with Ole Miss quarterback Jaxson Dart prior to his pro day that took place on Friday. The Giants are doing work on all of these quarterbacks, and as they should. And we are seeing Jaxson Dart go on a rise up draft boards that is honestly impressive. This is a guy that some people thought was a fourth-round pick. Then he turned into a third-round pick. Then he turned into a back end of round 2. Then he turned into round 2. Then he turned into back end of round 1. And now we got Mel Kiper and Daniel Jeremiah in their most recent mock drafts not having him go in round 2. And not even really having him go at the back end of round 1. Kiper has him going number 9, top 10. Daniel Jeremiah has him going 21. Like, I wasn't in love with the idea of taking Jaxson Dart at 34, but it makes some sense, and it lines up with my grade. I have a round 2 grade on Jaxson Dart, which doesn't mean I think he stinks, which doesn't mean I hate him, which doesn't mean I don't want him on my football team. I just don't have a round 1 grade on him. I don't think he's someone that I would take in the top 5 or the top 10 or the top 15 or the top 20. I have a day 2, round 2 grade on him. And to be honest with you, I don't love the idea of trading up for Jaxson Dart, which if Kiper and Schefter and Jeremiah are right, and Todd McShay as well, who will show his mock draft in a second, where the Giants traded back in around 1 to get him, or if they're right, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I like him at pick 34. I've warmed up to that idea. I've watched all the tape, watched all the throws, I've watched all the breakdowns. There are traits I'm willing to bet on with Jaxson Dart. There are things about his game that pique my curiosity. There is a world where I see Jaxson Dart being a long-term successful starter in this league. But there's also a world where I see Jaxson Dart as a Will Levis or a Drew Lock and a lot of other round 2 quarterbacks that just did not work out. Some things I like him on. He's got good arm strength. Not great arm strength, but good arm strength. I thought he was one of the best deep ball throwers in college football last year when it comes to timing, touch, anticipation, and throwing people open downfield. He's accurate. He is an accurate quarterback. Not the most accurate, but accurate. He could put the ball in a spot to maximize the yak. He could do it from multiple arm angles. He could do it to all 3 levels of the field. I really like his touch. I think he's good at layering the football. He's got a little bit of J.J. McCarthy in him, not to the degree where McCarthy only threw a 90-mile-an-hour fastball with Michigan, never put any touch on it. Dart does that a little bit on his deep ball, but we see him layer the football over the linebackers to get in between the linebackers and the safety. We see him throw that cover 2 a hole shot. And he's one of the most efficient deep ball passers in college football last year. Brian Daboll wants a quarterback that can generate chunk plays. You could see that by going out and get Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. He's a plus runner. He is an underrated athlete. He's got a little bit of Jalen Hurts to me in his game, where if you just think you can crash down on the RPO or the read option, he's going to tuck and run and pick up 15. And when he gets those legs moving, he can run. And you see flashes of anticipation. And for me, since I've started to really study quarterbacks this year, I've had the hardest time in the world trying to decipher, is that anticipation or is that I'm going to throw this ball no matter what? Because, like, it can look beautifully, but, like, if you just walk to the line saying, I'm throwing this no matter what, that can sometimes come off as anticipation on field. So I struggle with that, but I think Dart at times flashes elite anticipation skills. I think other times you could see him get through his reads. He can go from the post to the backside dig, to the hook over the middle of the field, to the running back in the flat. He can get from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. He does that at times. But other times I think he gets stuck on his first read too often, and maybe that's just the college-y offense he plays in, which we'll talk about. He is competitive, man. He's a gamer. And I hate that term because what the hell does that mean? But when you watch this guy, he competes. He wants to win. He gives it his all. He wants to do whatever it takes to win the football game. He makes some plays on the run. I think he is a plus playmaker. He can get outside the pocket and make those second and third plays. A lot of things I like about a game. Some other things where there are mental process flashes, there's also mental process questions where I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you throwing that ball? Why did you not take one more step and get to that third read or get to that second read? You locked into the quick game there. I think sometimes his pocket presence stinks. I think he's good against the blitz and against pressure, and sometimes he even looks great, and some of his best passes are in the face of pressure. But overall, I think he sometimes walks into sacks, and I think sometimes he can feel pressure a little bit before it's actually there. And I think decision-making is inconsistent. I mean, just go watch the end of that Florida game. Trying to make a play, I get it, but I just can't erase that from my memory. Kind of like the Tyler Shuck interception where he just throws the ball underhand style. And the college-y offense, like Lane Kiffin. When you're in that spread offense, everyone's out, nobody in the backfield, and you're working the quick game, you're throwing the jet concepts, you're throwing the slant arrows, you're getting it out quick. Like, you kind of know who you're throwing to before the snap, and sometimes the coach is telling you who to throw to. And, like, I hate this one as well because we say the same thing about Shedeur. I don't see anything elite about his game. He doesn't have elite arm strength. He doesn't have elite size. He doesn't have elite speed. He doesn't have elite processing. He doesn't have elite playmaking skills. Everything's at about a B to maybe a B+, which means he could be a B to a B+ quarterback, which is why I have a day 2 grade on him. I like how he's got better every step of the way. 5-star prospect going to USC. Then he gets to Oxford and he progresses and progresses and progresses. And the tape this year was better than last year. And I like that. And I want to see growth. Completion percentage going up every single year. Love to see that. The touchdowns go up while the interceptions go down. The yards go up while the dumb plays go down. I like that. And I like that versus pressure. He didn't put the ball in harm's way nearly as much this year that he did last year. Only 5 turnover-worthy plays against pressure. Only 3 interceptions thrown against pressure. And some of his best balls are against pressure. If I had to say what is elite about his game, I can't go to say his deep passing is elite, but it's very good. Very good, maybe the best in the class. Top of the class. Number 1 in deep yards in college. Big time throw percentage, tied for 6th. Average depth of target, tied for 6th. Adjusted completion percentage, 13th. And the big time throws of turnover-worthy plays, a little high on the turnover-worthy plays, but better than what we've seen in the prior years. And an underrated runner. 100 carries last year, 648 yards, 6.5 yards per carry, 3 touchdowns, 22 missed tackles forced, 312 yards after contact, 28 runs at 10+ yards, 4 runs at 15+ yards, 384 yards picked up on scrambles, and 264 yards picked up on designed QB runs. So you can design some QB runs for him. He'll make plays outside the pocket. He'll run through arm tackles. You can use his legs into your game plan. And I do, at the end of the day, think that Dart at 34 would be a good pick. If you leave the NFL draft with Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter and Jaxson Dart, that's a good day 1 and that's a good day 2. It doesn't sound like he's going to be there at 34 anymore, though, which is crazy. Todd McShay released his most recent mock draft. Go watch his stuff. He's doing a great job. He had the Giants receiving pick 19 when they traded up with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where they had to give up pick 34, pick 65, and a 2026 third-round pick. Says 56. Should be 65. Pick 65. I think McShay got that messed up. Giants have pick 65. So 65, 34, and a third. So you trade your second and your third round this year and a future third to move up 15 spots. Would you make this trade? Would you do this trade? Type A for accept. Type D for decline. I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. Sound off for me down below. A for accept, D for decline. I said it at the beginning of the show, and I'm just going to say it again. I don't love the idea of trading up for Dart. Kind of a similar tune that I'm going to sing here that I did with Shedeur. Why not just build up the roster this year and then make the all-in push for a quarterback next year? Unless you think Jaxson Dart is a franchise guy. And if you do, then yes, you make that trade. But if you thought he was a franchise guy, wouldn't you just take him at 9, or are you playing the game again? I don't know. I've never been a huge day 2, day 3 drafting a quarterback guy. It's worked out. I get it. You see all the time it works out. But a lot of the time it doesn't work out as well. I don't mind the Giants leaving the draft this year with just saying, we're going to roll with Russ. We're going to roll with Jameis. We don't care about the pressure from John Mara. And we're going to take an elite player at 30. We're going to take an elite player at 34. We're going to take an elite player at 65. We're going to take an elite player at 99. We're going to take an elite position player at 105. Let's leave the draft with 5 picks inside the top 105 with all 5 of those guys being starters. So when we're at this time next year, we have a much better foundation and a much better roster where we might actually be a QB away. And then you could push all your chips into the table to maybe move up to the number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4 overall pick. We showed you how many quarterbacks are going next year. A lot of those people thought that those guys could have went number 1 this year, which means maybe you could add the 2nd or 3rd pick like you did in 2024 to get an elite guy. I get it. You got to take one at one point. But you can never go broke taking a profit. And when you take the best player on the board every time, and that player hits, even when it's not a quarterback, your team's going to get a lot better. Make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram, @MarshallGreen_. Joe Schoen probably feels the pressure to get a quarterback. I get that. What's best for Joe Schoen and what's best for the Giants might be different. And that's what I'm trying to figure out. We'll see you later. Let's go, Big Blue.